All right, welcome back. And today we're going to make a line drawing. We're going to use a photograph and we're going to basically trace over it using line in Photoshop to make a line drawing image. So here we go. I'm going to start here and I'm going to use this image here called woodfence.jpg. It's kind of a smaller image than I might like, but it'll do for our use. You, however, can choose any one of these other images that you would like. I'm going to grab the image and I'm just going to drag it down into Photoshop CS6. And that's going to open up. And then we'll see our image. Here it is. A little bit smaller than I would like. I'm going to hit Command plus on my Mac to make it a little bit larger. Now what we want to do is I don't want to draw directly on the image. If I were to draw directly on the image, then if I needed to erase anything, I would erase the image as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a tracing paper layer basically so that we can draw on top of that. So I'm just going to go Layer, New, Layer. I'm going to call this layer Paper. Tell it OK. And what I'm going to do with this layer is going to get our tracing paper color. So I'm going to go right up here to my color picker. I definitely don't want red. And I want kind of an off-white gray, right about there maybe. I hit OK. And now I'm already on the paint bucket tool right here. I'm just going to dump that on my paper layer. Make sure I'm on the paper layer, dump my paint bucket. Now what I've made is basically a white piece of paper on top of my image. But I want to be able to see through that in order to see the image. So I go over here to my opacity slider. I'm going to drag this down, maybe 35%. And now I can see through the paper to the image behind it. We'll see why that's important a little later. Now I want to make another layer that I'm actually going to draw on. Layer, New, Layer. This one I'm going to call Drawing. Good enough. Hit OK. And this one we can leave just like it is. This, how you see it right here, is just fine. Now what I want to do is pick out a brush that I'm going to do my drawing with. So I'm going to go over here to the brush tool and I'm going to make this kind of like a pencil drawing. I've got a lot of choices here. I'm going to narrow this down a little bit by clicking the little gear icon over here on the right. I'm going to go down here to my favorite dry media brushes. Do I want to replace? Yes. I'm going to hit OK. So here we have a lot of different choices for dry media brushes. I actually want to see the names. I'm going to click here and tell it I want a large list. And you could pick a few different ones. My favorite for this kind is probably the number 5 charcoal pencil. So that's what I'm going to pick. And then I can just click this again to make it go away. Then I want to change my color. We want our charcoal pencil to be charcoal colored. Not quite black, but pretty dark. About there. Tell it OK. Now what I'm going to do is just, I'm using a draw pad here, and I'm just going to check and see what this looks like. Yep, not too bad. So now I want to make sure I'm on my drawing layer, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a tracing. I'm going to start with just sort of the outline of the wood that I see here. Don't forget to include all these like cut marks and texture bits that you see here. These are important. And there's some texture here, and then I'm going to do my edge outline. I'm not terribly worried about this wire here yet. Just going to do the outline. You can see the brush I'm using right now does kind of look like a kind of a fat charcoal pencil. And then I'm going to do these detail lines here, like so. Now what you can see is right now, if I go over here to the paper layer, whoops, sorry, I hit it twice. I go over here to the paper layer and I can raise my opacity back up to 100%. And now here you can actually see what I've been drawing. It doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to lower my opacity again back down to my 35. Close enough. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep using my charcoal pencil. And now, you know what? I might actually change my color a little bit, go a little bit lighter, a lot lighter, to do some of these bits of the this barbed wire that's around the fence, like so, and some of this down here. Oh, I'm drawing on the paper layer. Don't do that. There, that looks better. Don't draw on your paper layer. See, even I make that mistake. It's not the end of the world if you do that, but definitely better not to. Now I want to go back to my black color. So I want to do more of this wood here. Go all the way down to the bottom. Some of this area here. And this is actually a little bit lighter, so I'm just not going to press quite as hard. It's still going to come out pretty dark. But you start to get the idea. Okay. And I'll maybe do this bottom bit here as well. And I can always go back to the paper layer, turn it back up to see what I have. I think this is coming along pretty nicely. I may actually lower the size of my brush to maybe, I want about a 3. Maybe there, a 2 will do. And I can do even more detail here because it'll be even thinner. Don't forget to add some texture on here, things like that. So, you want to keep going on this particular project. Oh, see, look at that. I drew on the paper layer again. Keep going on this project. Fill in details. Make it look good. Do the best you can. Remember, if it's not coming out the way you like, you can always step backwards. Or if you need to start over, start over. Okay? Make it look good and have fun with it.